Make sure you subscribe to Dedication TV, man. Coming to you by Monroe Flow. Straight up. Let's do it.
Yeah, what's good? What's going on, man? It's your boy AC Tho back with another blog. Shout out to everybody in the whole entire battle rap community. Shout out to everybody that subscribed to the channel. Appreciate all the love. I appreciate it, man. Been getting a lot of love on the channel, man. Yeah, I was scrolling on Twitter and I seen something very strange, man. I was usually looking forward to, my daily sports. I watch Jay Williams and Max Kellerman, on their morning show. And then I used to watch, Skip and Shannon right after that, you know what I mean? And then I would indulge a little bit with First Take in between as well. But then I saw ESPN laid off over 20-something co-workers, man. Like, this layoff stuff is serious. So I remember watching Stephen A's podcast. And during the segment, he alluded to the fact that it could be some major layoffs coming towards the network. Now, those who don't know, ESPN is owned by Disney, and Disney owns a couple of other networks as well, along, I think, with Nickelodeon and, things of that nature. But they've been doing a lot of layoffs as well. They're going through some internal things in Florida. I believe that they could be relocating to Atlanta, Georgia, if I'm not mistaken. Because of the politics and things going on with the governor down there in Florida, they're looking to relocate and move Disney World to Georgia, which will be a huge look just for the whole entire community. But other than that, they've been struggling, with, because of the pandemic and, things are still expensive. Gas is still expensive. Flights are still expensive. People are not really traveling as much, and they're forced to, do layoffs. Now, I remember seeing a report that they were laying off like 5,000 to 10,000 employees across like the Disney worlds, I believe in like Florida, and I believe there's Disneyland in California as well. But we didn't really think like this could really affect the other affiliated programs that they have. It's like ESPN, for example. Now, I mean, this is a huge shocker. I know this is a little bit of down period. The NBA finals is over. Football season doesn't really start till about September, October. So we're kind of like in the baseball season, WNBA. So it's kind of like, it's a little quiet, I think you got hockey going on right now. So as far as like sports, where there's a lot of talk and, sports is really a popular, thing online. And, there's a lot of conversation being held is mostly like basketball, football, and boxing, of course, boxing. But, it's crazy, man. So I pulled up the article here because I was reading a couple articles, and I have the New York Post here that says ESPN is laying off some of its biggest stars, including Jeff Van Gundy, Max Kellerman, Keyshawn Johnson, Suzy and Jalen Rose, just to name a few, in a purge that is expected to result in around 20 on-air personalities begin to let go as Friday, as the network hopes to save tens of millions of dollars. So that means that the ratings is clearly not there, and whoever's doing the budget here, I don't know. That's big, bro. That's big. I mean, Jeff Van Gundy, he's a legend. He's a legendary coach, but he's also a legend in the sports commentary world. He's very knowledgeable. He's on point when when he's discussing the game. He's a big pillar. I would like to say, just to the network itself, especially during the live coverage of NBA games. So to see him get let go is like crazy to me. Then you got Max Kellerman. He was on First Take with Stephen A. Smith. The chemistry there didn't work out too well. They kind of parted ways, but another opportunity opened for Max to get his own show in the morning with Keyshawn and Jay Williams. I thought they had a really good thing going on there. You got three different people from three different worlds of sports. Max from the boxing world, Jay from basketball, Keyshawn from football. So you mesh the three together. When you're talking about various topics in sports, you're getting three, professional opinions per se. But a lot of the guys are kind of experienced in multiple fields, not just their own per se. But I thought it was a really good show. I thought they did a really good job, not only just tackling sports, but they also tackled life stuff that's happening in the world. you know. And I thought, like, especially like with the whole John Morant thing and the whole cheating scandal with the coach from the Boston Celtics, you know, I just thought like the way they gave their perspective on things, like I really appreciated it and liked the commentary, you know, especially Keyshawn, you know, coming from Cali, you know, giving his perspective more so like on the hood side of things, but, you know, still very smooth with his etiquette. Jay Williams, extremely smart, you know, he was a beast in basketball before he got hurt. But, you know, he's very knowledgeable when it comes to the game of basketball. And then you got Max. He's very knowledgeable when it comes to basketball, but also in the boxing world. So, I don't know. He also has his own show. I don't know if he has his own show as far as on the ESPN network. He might have his own podcast. But, you know, and Jalen Rose, man. Jalen Rose be killing shit. Jalen Rose, I believe, had his own morning show. He would also pop up on NBA Countdown, on various shows. First Take. You know, he would body shit. You know, and it would always be a good thing to see. My man would come on there with the fresh cut. He'd have a nice suit, some ill kicks, some nice frames. Like, you want to see that. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes I would look forward to seeing, like, man, what the hell Jalen about to rock? You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just dope, man. It was dope, man. It's kind of sad to see. And even in the Suzy Colaber, pardon me if I messed your name up, but I remember seeing her, you know, in various times during the NBA playoffs and things of that nature. But she's been with the company for 20-something years, you know. So that's a very sad thing. But the thing about these individuals here, because they're such of a big name, they can go anywhere. You know, they can go any network, especially Fox. And Fox is an open lane right now. You know, I don't hear anything about them doing any type of layoffs or things of that nature. So they can really compete and scoop up a lot of this great talent here, especially like a Keyshawn, a Jalen Rose, a Max Kellerman, pardon me, Jeff Van Gundy. You know, they can scoop them up and bring them on the network. You know, what's the name? Skip is looking for a partner. And I also read that Jay Williams' contract is ending up in the summer. So I don't know if he's going to, you know, re-sign or renegotiate with ESPN. He might, you know, take his talent somewhere else to another network. You know, you never know. You know, you got TNT out there. You know, TNT is more so just basketball coverage, but I know those guys probably want to, you know, be on a platform that doesn't just cover basketball per se. You know, because then you kind of like limit the things that you can talk about, you know, and you also limit your visibility as well. Because, you know, we only see Shaq, you know, Kenny, Charles during the NBA season. But I think somebody like a Jay Williams would do really well on a Fox network. Max Kellerman would do well. I think Keyshawn would do well. I wonder what happened with the other people that was on Mad Dog that used to be on First Take. What's my man? Perkins. And Swagoo. Swagoo. Like, I wonder, did these guys, I'm trying to get the full list here. They just have a couple of names here. So they have a Matt Hanselbeck, NFL draft expert Todd Mache, college basketball analyst LaFonz Ellis, Sports Center anchor Ashley Bureau, radio host Jason Fitz, and host Jordan Cornette, and baseball writer June Lee. So, you know, they don't have as far as a list of every single individual, but I also would like to know, you know, were those particular individuals, you know, laid off. You know, this is a very unfortunate thing, you know, and hopefully, you know, they can kind of turn this thing around. They still have, you know, a couple of months, you know, especially, you know, with the NBA season not really going to pick up until November, December, but you got football season coming right around. So I know ESPN wants to, you know, compete, you know, in those headlines as far as for ratings and things of that nature. You know, let's keep it real here. Like, Stephen A. Smith can't carry that shit all by himself. And if you really pay attention, he's really going hard on his podcast. Like, the content that he's putting out a lot of consistent content on his podcast, and his podcast is fire. His podcast is fire, man. If you start bringing on guests and really like how he does First Take and have in-depth conversations with different topics, I think, man, he could really increase his buying power, you know. But I don't know, man. It's not really looking good for ESPN, man. You know, they let go a lot of dope talent. I'm definitely keep, you know, my ears close to this, because this really caught my attention. I really wanted to blog on this, and I want to get in the comments a couple of you guys, you know, just their opinion on it. And I know there's a couple of experts that's probably going to be watching this video here that you could probably school me on in a couple things. And, you know, we can exchange information and learn, you know, because I definitely want to learn more about this and, you know, the contracts and things of that nature, because I know there's certain clauses in contracts. From what I read, even if you were to get laid off, there's a certain window where you can't go to a certain competitor. You know, you have to give a certain amount of time for, you know, a window for them to rehire you, or certain negotiations. I just remember reading that and hearing about that discussion that Stephen A. Smith had on Cameron and Mace Is What It Is podcast. You know, he touched on that just briefly a little bit. But, you know, we're going to see what's going to happen, man. Like I said, it's the summertime, you know, sports kind of dies down a little bit. The dominant sports like basketball and football doesn't really take place until the fall and the winter. So hopefully, you know, they regroup and maybe look at the talent and the roster that they have, and maybe they can, you know, look at it and see what type of shows that they can put together. You know, there is a lot of analysts out there. You know, there's a lot of analysts out there, and, you know, there's some analysts that can go to different platforms, and there's some analysts that's, you know, free agents, you know. So we'll see what happens, man. Let me know what y'all think in the comment section about this story, man. Subscribe to the channel, hit the like. I appreciate all the love, man. Big salute to everybody. Follow me on all social media platforms at Ace is Working on Instagram and Twitter and TikTok. All right, I appreciate all the love, y'all. Peace.